Welcome back to Founder Voices of Women's History Month. I'm Lauren Conaway, founder and CEO of Innovate Her KC, and this video series is brought to you by Innovate Her KC and Aperture Venture Capital, our amazing partners in equitable funding and capital access. So today, as you can see, we have with us a lovely human being, one of my favorite founders, I'm not going to lie. Jackie Nguyen comes to us with Cafe Cafe, and I'm gonna wax poetic about you a little bit, Jackie, just a little bit. So Cafe Cafe, and I will let Jackie tell you more about it here in a minute. But in addition to being a fantastic business, Jackie has created what I would call a cultural touchstone in the Kansas City area, particularly for the AAPI community and its allies. But you know, she does amazing work to highlight, promote, elevate women-owned, minority-owned business and create access points for the AAPI community here in Kansas City. And we are so grateful for the work that she does. Jackie, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Of course, anything for you, Lauren.
You are too kind. You're too kind. But let's delve right into it. And I gave a little bit of a sneak preview, but I'm going to ask you to tell us in your own words, what is Cafe Cafe?
Cafe Cafe is, first of all, technically a coffee shop. It is Kansas City's first Vietnamese coffee shop where we serve Vietnamese coffee, Vietnamese style coffee, where culture is at the forefront of what we do. And Cafe Cafe is not only just a coffee shop, it is a space, a safe space for Asians, Asian Americans within the Midwest, within Kansas City area, where they can feel safe, where they can feel like they're cool, where they feel highlighted, where they feel heard. And it's also kind of become this space for a lot of marginalized communities as we began to promote ourselves and touch within the community. We found that, you know, Asians and Asian Americans were not the only people in Kansas City that felt marginalized. And so we became more of an outlet in that sense, but mainly we're a coffee shop that has morphed into a lot more.
Yeah, well, and I mean, so notably, you know, you just had Lunar New Year, you had that big celebration. Jackie, that was amazing. I have to tell you, it was so cram packed that I was like, this is a lot. But it was beautiful because we got to see dancers and we got to experience the coffee and we got to experience Asian owned business. And, you know, it was just such a lovely experience. You know, you had that huge Asian Lives Matter rally shortly after the hate crime that happened in Atlanta. And so I mean, I love the fact that you look at your business so holistically. Like, I mean, a lot of coffee shops, you know, they sling coffee and that's great, but you're creating an experience for your patrons, and it's so inclusive and so intentional. And I'm just so grateful that you are here in Kansas City and that I get to avail myself of the hella good latte.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think it's important to invest in women-led innovation and entrepreneurship?
Well, I think that for so long, women have been in the background and not really getting highlighted, right? And I think being able to invest your time, invest your, you know, not just your money, but also just like your confidence in a woman can just go so far. Because I know that, you know, a lot of my community has invested in me, and it makes me feel like, wow, like I do have all these ideas. I do have all these things that I want to create, but I've often felt like I wasn't allowed to, just because I was a woman and because I was always like, well, will they adhere to like what I have to say because I'm a woman? Like, and I don't want that doubt. And there's so many women who have incredible businesses, incredible ideas, incredible things, but they haven't had the opportunity to do that. And I think we're missing out on an entire demographic of people and an entire landscape of ideas and innovations if we're not allowing them to feel, first of all, like they're allowed to. And so I think the more people that invest in women, the more women that will come out and be like, oh, I feel like I do have a platform. I do feel like I'm able to say that. And like, so then we can't miss out on all these incredible businesses, ideas. Like, women are so just like malleable to so many situations, from motherhood, from, oh my God, just superhero like qualities.
We're the best multitaskers. I just know that we
truly,
are.
Truly. And I think that if we begin investing in them and allowing them to have space, it's just going to open up the world to so many more creative and like innovative spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. Having more perspectives at the table, particularly such well-informed perspectives, it's never a bad thing. So I love that. And you touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to ask you to delve a little bit more deeply, get a little bit personal with us. But what has it meant to you to be a female founder like Jackie?
Well, growing up, I didn't really have a lot of like specifically Asian American women that I could look up to other than my mom. And when I really talk about that, it's like I didn't even in like, TV, film, the things that I was watching, the things that I could consume, there wasn't anyone that looked like me. And with businesses, with restaurants or coffee shops, whatever. And so to me, it's important because I feel like I'm diversifying the ability for younger people to see themselves in a business owner. So like now it's like, okay, well, I own a coffee shop. I also like try to do as much community work as I can. What if there's another little Asian girl somewhere in Kansas City that is like, oh, I didn't know that was possible. Now I want to own my own business. Now I want to, create my own products or create my own, path. And right. I think that's important for me personally, because I am creating that example that I wish that I had growing up. Right. And I'm able to personally push myself. Business owning is really, really difficult. But I think the support from people and the investment that I've had from other people has made me feel capable. It's made me feel strong. It's made me feel like I can advocate for other people, especially those who are marginalized. So it's meant the world to me, actually.
Yeah. Well, I love that so much. And I can pretty much guarantee you that there is a little Asian girl out there somewhere who's looking to Jackie Nguyen and saying, I can do that. I promise so. I promise you that is the case. So what would you say to that little girl out there? Or what would you say to the female founders out there? What advice or encouragement do you have?
Oh my gosh. The one thing that it's a piece of borrowed advice, so it's not original, I have to say. But when I was, and I apologize, there's noise happening, but when I was going around asking for mentorships about coffee and about, owning a business and kind of pivoting into this world, a mentor of mine said that no one knows what they're doing. And that, for me, keeping that in my heart and in my mind has been so helpful, just because you gain a level of confidence knowing that really no one else really knows what they're doing either, from any industry, right? Like, yeah, we're all figuring it out as we go. All of us are children trying to be adults. And I think that the more that you put that into your mind, the more it helps you feel less alone. Yeah. You feel like challenges are normal because everyone else has the same challenges as you do. No one really knows what they're doing. And that has helped me so much, because I was so intimidated when I started, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so, not as prepared, or I don't have much experience. And someone was like, no one knows what they're doing, just letting you know. And I was like, oh, okay. And it is true. Everyone that I've talked to, they said, yeah, that's literally the truth. Like, no one really knows what they're doing.
Well, and I would take it like even a step further and say that not only do we not know what we're doing, but as soon as you think you know what you're doing, and you know that's when you stop learning, and that's when you stop growing, and that's when you stop evolving. And so
Hello,
you don't want to know everything.
if the pandemic hasn't taught us anything, it's like we have no say in how the future, like what it does to us. And so we've all had to pivot. Every type of industry in the planet has had to pivot. And I think entrepreneurship is constant pivoting, figuring out what to do next, figuring out how to make money, figuring out how to profit, figuring out how to market. And I think that if women just were like, we're all figuring it out, no one knows what they're doing, that will give you so much more confidence. And that has helped me truly, because it's a sense of like humility, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, that person who has millions of dollars started the same place you did, not knowing where to go, what to do. Even, the most brilliant of people have mentors, because we all need help. So I think that's what I would tell everyone.
I love that so much. And it also, I'm just going to kind of point to the power of mentorship. That was the little subtext or the secondary piece of what you were talking about. We talk often about innovator. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about imposter syndrome, which is kind of what you're speaking to. Like, I don't know enough, so I can't get started, and I don't belong here. But also, find those people, find the individuals who have done what you're trying to do before and who are willing to share their knowledge. We're all there's this saying in entrepreneurial circles that we're all just jumping off cliffs and building wings on the way down. Just do it, because it's never gonna be the perfect time, and you're never going to know everything that you need to know.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That tool helped me the most, because I am of the person where I will ask for help, and I don't have shame, and I don't have my ego has no like place in that, because the worst that could happen is someone else will help you or guide you in the direction that you need to go. For example, Innovate Her, I got my bookkeeper from Innovate Her. I got my mentors from Innovate Her. I asked so many different questions because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And I think the first step is to be like, I need help.
Yeah. There is no shame in asking for help. And I have to tell you, like, if that kind of authenticity, vulnerability, that kind of curiosity, because really like what you're talking about is curiosity, the desire to learn more. If all of those things kind of come together in you, I cannot imagine what the world would be like if there were thousands of Jackie Nguyen. So take it from Jackie.
Thank you.
Be curious, get those mentors, and don't be afraid to ask for help. So Jackie, I just, thank you for taking the time to chat with us for a few minutes. As always, I love talking to you so much. But really, in the larger scheme of things, thank you for the work that you do. I know that it's not easy to create a sense of place and grace and this really beautiful community around, of all things, coffee. But so much more than coffee.
Thank you. Oh gosh, I'm honored. I'm still, like I said, figuring it out as I go. And I just hope that, I want to shake things up for businesses. I want to be able to show them that, women can be leaders, and that Asian women can be leaders, and that coffee can be centered in culture and creative and all that. So I appreciate it.
I love it. And I have to tell, if you are in the Kansas City area, you have to try the Hella Good Latte. I'm obsessed with it. It's purple, number one. But that ube syrup that you put in there, like, it's so good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, the name is definitely appropriate. Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for everything that you do. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Of course. Thank you, Lauren.
All right. And thank you folks for watching. Remember, support women, elevate women, invest in women, champion women this Women's History Month and every month after that.